Greetings, church community. Today we are celebrating the kickoff of our 150th anniversary celebration. In this short video, we will share a brief history of our church and conclude with a celebration of the planting of an oak tree near our chapel, linking our past history to our future dreams. Our church began more than 150 years ago under a large live oak tree belonging to the family of Edwin Sutherland, who operated a ranch on property that is now the Sonoma Golf Club. Between Edwin and his sister, Fanny Dunn, they had 11 children in need of some organized religious instruction. Almost immediately, their Big Tree Sunday School became popular. People came from all around, both parents and children. In fact, most of the families living on the west side of Sonoma Valley gathered here every Sunday. And so the Big Tree Sunday School flourished and grew. It was said that the Big Tree Sunday School boasted an excellent choir. It is easy to picture the scene on a fine summer's day with the a cappella voices carried on a breeze across the mustard-covered fields of Sonoma Valley.
It was in 1870 that the leaders of the Sunday School put in motion plans to establish a church in Sonoma. 20 people signed up to pledge their support. The name of the church was to be the First Congregational Church of Christ in Sonoma. On May 2nd, 1871, exactly 150 years ago, a meeting was held in the public schoolhouse to ordain and install the officers of the church. Invitations were sent out to surrounding communities, and a large crowd gathered for the occasion. And thus, May 2nd, 1871, became the official date for the founding of the First Congregational Church of Christ in Sonoma. Of the 12 people who became charter members, 5 were Congregationalists, 3 Presbyterians, 3 Baptists, and 1 Episcopalian, a true ecumenical beginning. A few years later, in February 1873, a site for the new church was selected on a lot on Broadway across from the post office. After 8 months of constant fundraising and hard work, the first public worship service was held inside the unfinished new church. Over the next 6 years, enough cash was raised to finish the walls and ceilings with natural wood, install red carpet, and provide pews with red cushions. Always in need of money, the church had several strategies. They rented their cushioned pews to families, with center pews bringing in $30 a month. Another source of income was renting the lower part of the church to the Grange and Viticulture Society, although their use was not allowed on Sundays and no public dances were allowed. During the 1880s, a group of young women formed the Busy Bees. They helped support the church in many ways. Due to their hard work and ingenuity, $400 was raised to buy a handsome bell to call the congregation to church. The installation of the bell was occasion for a grand celebration with speeches and singing. But the crowning event of the day was the first ringing of the bell. Each of the Busy Bees had a hand on the rope, which extended out into the street. During World War I, Reverend Cookman rang the bell each day at noon for all who heard it to offer a prayer for our soldiers overseas.
Over time, the church outgrew its location. In 1955, the congregation decided to purchase a lot on West Spain Street and relocate there. This was a gigantic undertaking. On Friday, May 27th, 1960, the actual move took place. Excitement was intense. The top part of the church was mounted on dollies and then placed on trucks. PG&E was on hand to protect wires as the church lumbered down Broadway. It made its turn toward Spain Street on the west side of the plaza. The turn onto Spain was critical with only inches to spare. PG&E lifted their wires and the turn was made. 6 months later, the new church received its members in the chapel that everyone had worked so hard to preserve. 2 years later, plans were drawn to add a church school wing and a dining hall. On May 24th, 1964, dedication services were held. These were great years for the church. There was a large Sunday school enrollment, and there were 3 church choirs. The 60s were good years for churches. Over the years, the strong core of longtime members has been augmented by new members, drawn in part by the warm feeling of friendliness and caring that permeates throughout the congregation. The implementation of new programs has created a binding force among members, as well as providing a means of outreach to the community. With a continuous need for fundraising, the church was supported by the Sewing Circle in 1871. Then the Ladies' Aid Society, the Busy Bees, the Doers Club, and the Women's Fellowship. Today, our congregation supports a thriving thrift shop that benefits our church and our community in many ways. The thrift shop provides a popular gathering place where great conversations and bargains can be found. Proceeds from their sales are used to help support our church and local nonprofits in need. And 25 years ago, in 1996, when we celebrated our 125th anniversary, we also began new ties with the Jewish community in town and welcomed Congregation Shir Shalom to share our campus. A strong friendship with their congregants has resulted. Their worshiping in our church deepens our understanding of their tenets and strengthens our firm belief in ecumenical bonds. Today, we are a welcoming, inclusive community of progressive church Christians. We covenant together in the presence of God to love and support one another, to grow with one another, building our future out of past memories and present hopes. We affirm our journey together in our diversity for justice, peace, and healing throughout all of God's creation. Now, we'll meet you outside.
As a way of honoring our beginnings with something that connects us to both Mother Earth and to future generations, the Earth Care team has planted a young oak tree on our campus, here near the chapel. Today we are dedicating this tree to our community in honor of our 150th anniversary celebration of our beginnings under a big oak tree. We plant this tree in solidarity with the Great Green Wall as a symbol for humanity overcoming adversity and building a better world for generations to come. The Great Green Wall is an African-led epic ambition to plant trees along the 5,000 area of northern Africa from the Atlantic to the Red Sea. The wall promises to be a compelling solution to the many urgent threats not only facing Africa, but the global community as a whole, notably climate change, drought, famine, conflict, and migration. The Earth Care team will donate $250 to the Great Green Wall to help to create a better world for generations to come. Let us pray. We join with the earth and each other, with our ancestors and all beings of the future, to bring new life to the land, to recreate the human community, to provide justice and peace, to remember our children, to remember who we are. We join together as many and diverse expressions of one loving mystery for the healing of the earth and the renewal of all life.
As a way for us all to share in the celebration of our 150th anniversary, we invite you to visit this prayer tree and leave a prayer ribbon from a bag that's behind me attached to the tree. We seek prayers of rejoice, prayers of celebration for our 150th anniversary, and prayers for our Mother Earth and for all of those who call it home. Happy anniversary, First Congregational Church of Sonoma!